Well, hello everybody and happy Tuesday. Here we are in For the Love of Dragons going live as we do every week. Not always at the same exact moment, right? We try to be around 11 o'clock, but it's always in alignment with what is in this moment and the right timing. So here we are, and I've had some interesting information sort of tie together, and I thought, that'd be a great thing to share with everybody because you're going to start feeling these different things if you're not already, or maybe you're feeling them, and this will give you some insight into a deeper level of what's going on energetically for you. So let's start with the fact that for those that haven't seen me before, my name is Araya. We do always have new people in the group, and I am a dragon guide. I am a dragon myself. I've been teaching people about dragons. I wrote a book back in 2007 and working with their energy since about 2003-4, and full-time being a guide for people for the last 4.5 years, which is my joy, my passion, what I'm here to do because I am a dragon, and helping you wake up to the fact that that might be a reality for you, that if you're connected to the dragons, there's a reason, whether you are a dragon or you just have a deep connection with them, to help understand that. And to start working with them, to remember how to work with them, to wake up to what that dragon breath is within you and how to call that forth and connect, because the dragons bring us a lot of amazing gifts, and they're a critical piece of our ascension process because they've been a critical piece of the creation process of this realm, or the holding energetics of this realm. That's been their dynamic responsibility. And as that comes to a close in this great ascension shift, there's all kinds of information coming forward and all kinds of dragons coming. You should see my entire wall here is covered with all the beautiful dragons from the deck. If you haven't seen the Oracle deck yet, the images are stunning. I let Spirit lead me to the perfect artist in Argentina who just nailed it. Every time I sent him a feeling of something, and he would do very few changes. So that is a powerful deck. I had a really beautiful, so I guess you'd call it a testimony or a comment come back to me by email from someone who they're in France, and they had just received it. And they like to do kinetic testing and energetic resonance testing on things when they receive them, especially things like decks, because they go through a printing process, they come from different places. And she was pleasantly shocked and surprised at the over 800 level rating, which for her was a massive reading on a scale of typical decks don't come in like with any resonance at all, let alone like something at 800. And she could feel the power. Most people feel the power in the deck when they receive it. And I want to remember that part of that is because what I do is transfer energy. What I do is transfer information. And in the past there were downloads, now they're more like a direct transference. You feel it coming through when we're talking and discussing, and you feel my dragon come in, and she is very present today. I can feel Tana, my full dragon self, because we are meant to be more merged now. We are meant to be in that. But in that, when I send a deck out, when I send a canvas print out, when I send out a pendant, like I've got mine, but a lot of these have gone out to the rightful owners, these beautiful custom stone pendants. And I do have a whole new set of Andara pendants arriving very soon. They were shipped on Monday. And that's going to be for my Andara Dragon class. Well, it's not just for them. It's for anybody that they are resonant with and that they are calling to work with. But the Andara Dragon class that I'm doing on Saturday, June 11th, 9:30 a.m. for about an hour and a half. That's Pacific Standard Time. I will put the descriptor later in the comments or in the description so that you have a link to register. We've got a great group already registered. It's $44, but you're going to get not only an hour and a half class with amazing information about the Andaran dragons, but a powerhouse meditation that is guaranteed to shift some things for you. And anybody in that group is going to have first crack with 10% off on the new Andara pendants. So I'm really excited to see and feel them. I could feel them resonate with me when I was even looking at the stones that were available when I contacted my gal that custom makes them for me. Just seeing and feeling the stones popping at me, it was like, oh, that one and that one. So it was very fun. But going back to whatever it is that sends out from me, there's a transmission, a transference that goes with it to expand. The intention that goes in and the energy that goes into each package is for that person's journey to expand rapidly forward. That it's about the highest exponential expansion in the most rapid form for your journey. So that's why they're powerhouse, besides the dragons that go along with them, if you need a tool in your tool belt. But with that said, let's move into what I wanted to share today. And this is stuff that's been coming up. I've had a lot of information and discussion in the last several months about our electromagnetic field, about our electrical charge as we move from carbon to silica-based beings, and how that's going to happen. How biologically, how are we shifting in an ascension process to actually merge with our light body, and what does that look like? What does that mean? So silica, meaning crystalline, is, I was always given the word crystalline, and then something else hit me, and it was, oh, it's the silica structure, and that silica is crystal. Carbon moving to silica is they're both hexagonal, but they have a slightly different point of connection at where the molecules branch, or the specific components of the molecules branch together. I'm not scientific. I'm not going to go into that piece, but it was a lightning rod going off from me when I had this realization. And so in that, what I've been receiving a lot of is this point where we've talked about the 0 point doorway. We've talked about moving into and through that, and how that is our connector point between the 3D realm and the 5D realm. And when we sit within both, we're in this transition, trying to acclimate to the new, trying to release and let go of all that's still clinging to us, or that we're clinging to from the old. And this big point of, we actually are moving into a space where we get knocked out into, or knocked down into, a 0 point field charge. That means that our whole electrical field needs to be realigned to the vibrational field of the electrical resonance within the 5D field. So it's all electromagnetics. And it would make sense then that if we're jumping tracks, if we're going up vibrational layers, we are needing to zero out, almost like a lightning bolt hitting a house, grounds in, everything in the house is destroyed, all the old wiring, you got to put new wiring in. So you might be feeling a lot of, I'm drained, I'm tired, I got no energy, what's going on? Moving into this place of honoring the 0 point. Honor when you're exhausted. And, you know, we've had these kinds of symptoms going on for a couple years now, but it's going to be more prominent right now as we move into this charge field, the electrical shift point in your body. And I had a session yesterday, and the information that was coming through really applied to everyone. So that really inspired me of a piece that this is related to share today. And when we move into that point and we're ready to take on the new electrical charge, what's going to be the greatest factor of assistance to move you into that process? That's going to be your intentional merge point with your dragon self. So you may not know how to do that. You may not have gone through my Dragon Heart program or my Quantum Flight program. You may be like, just, well, I'm working with the dragons. I'm doing the best I can. I'm getting these intuitive hits. Follow your gut, but hold your intention to merge in with your full light body dragon self. If you're not a dragon, but you work with dragons, or you know that you're a dragon rider, it's still that higher self element that the more you can merge with that, it's going to make it easier, because when you move into the fifth dimensional field fully, you're actually going to be embodied within that full light body. That's the ascension process, right? So if we don't make the intention to actually hold that field around us, it's going to keep like being out in front of us, which is keeping us from the merge. So we'll keep being almost stranding ourselves in that 0 point doorway. Even though we're ready to leave 3D behind, we're ready to make the shift. If we haven't started intentionally spending more and more moments of every single day that goes by in that intention of merging into and feeling that. And intention is, I would say, 90% of everything or more. Intention is the whole ball of wax of where you put your focus is where you're going to draw energy. So if you think, oh, I don't know how, or I don't know what I'm doing, just do your best and set your intention. You can certainly arrange for a session or a discussion with me. And yeah, awesome. Shivers on that, Deb. It's about holding what you desire, what you want most. And if we're not holding that desire to be merged with ourselves as our greatest, most thoughtful now intention, then do we really want ascension? Do we really want to be moving forward? So paying attention to that is just the focus now. And part of that came in, it was very interesting to have this session and all this information coming, feeling a connection with the sun, that we've got a lot of sun energy around us. I know that last week we had, I believe, the sun dragon and the or the flame dragon and the tangerine dragon here. We had the energy of the sun dragon also coming in. These guys I pulled because they're in that same elemental color, even though the citrine dragon is actually an air dragon field. This is pulling in for us now. It's all of these brilliant oranges, yellows. It's the energy of the sun that's trying to amp up and ramp up through the nucleus of each of your cells. And that's a micro version of every sun that's out there in our system, in the greater central system, in the system beyond that, leading all the way back to the sun of the divine, and getting that lineup of power that will actually align us into the 0 point field and that charge drop, that charge zeroing out in order to step into and receive the new electrical charge. So in that, I found it very interesting to be looking through some things that, I follow online, or I have feeds that I read, and I was watching something, not expecting it, and they started talking about the event, the solar flare event. That's been out there as a word, as a term, the event, for some time. There was another event in March of, I want to say 2018, when it was the rainbow energy coming in, and that was a big wave of energy, and we started seeing rainbow dragons and lots of shifts in the skies. Well, this is more like the solar flare event. There's been a big expected, or not prophesied, but much talked about event coming up that is about an increase in solar flare activity that literally affects our electromagnetic field. And I hadn't really realized that, and then I was watching this other video, and this became part of it. And they were sort of validating or confirming everything that I've been getting from the dragons, in mentioning how the solar flare energy affects our electromagnetic field. It's going to come through and raise up. And one of the things that it does when this solar flare energy comes through, when this, you might call it a hot flash, you might call it a burning up. No wonder the fire and the flame dragon lineage are present with us right now. When that comes through our plane, our earth plane, it decalcifies the pineal gland. What does that do? Why is our pineal gland calcified? The water we drink, the foods we eat, all the preservatives in it, the chemicals, everything about our society has been meant to keep the veil present, dummy down, hold this cap on your knowing, your own intuitive knowing, that is your access point through the pineal gland to all that you be. So if that's got a calcified covering, it does make it harder to access your clairvoyance, your claircognizance, your clairaudience. All of those gifts are stymied or stifled by a layer of calcium around the pineal gland. So there's been an intentional shutting down of that through dietary availability of processed foods, what's easy on the market, what's affordable on the market. Believe me, there's been an intentional desire to stifle that. But when this solar flare comes through, it actually apparently decalcifies that pineal gland. What does that do? That is going to cause massive abrupt awakening, which will be very disorienting and possibly terrifying for some people to remember. What does that have to do with the next step? Because the other pieces during my session yesterday and many of my sessions recently is about biolocational awareness. I have started having, and I think I've talked about this in a couple different places, I think on the lives here, but actual instance of biolocational awareness happened when I did the Gathering of the Magic Makers. And my interview on that actually talked about it in depth because it was happening. It was literally happening to be in two spaces in time continuum. So this biolocational awareness, watch the replay if you want to on that Gathering of the Magic Makers. I think you can still find the registration links down in the post feed, or maybe you're talking about the replay on this one. But it's a fascinating piece, because what happens when that pineal gland is freed, is activated, and all of a sudden you have memory bank. All of a sudden you have access to all this information on a soul level. Well, that's your light body self. That's your higher self that's been present, trying to merge in and connect with you. And for many that will be disorienting, but by even talking about it now, giving you an awareness ahead of time, if you have this open, all of a sudden you're in a place where my body's here, my awareness is here. There are different dimensional planes. How do I deal with that? And you start to become aware, which I call biolocational awareness. It will even be multiple location awareness, because on a soul level, you are aware in every fractal of yourself, incarnationally, in whatever timeline, in whatever star system, wherever you be, as parts of yourself that are out having experiences, like this body here now. You're going to start becoming aware of all of them. And that's your higher knowing. That's your soul level connection point. And it will be very disconcerting possibly to have awareness of yourself out maybe in the Lyran system, maybe in the 1500s here on this planet, where you start recognizing, and not just recognizing and remembering, but actually feeling yourself present within that, because you're able to look through the eyes of any fractal of yourself through your intention and through your consciousness. So that's a whole big discussion point for maybe another class or another series of lives. But I want you to know that when you talk about this event that's coming, this solar flare, it's a hugely positive thing, and what's going to really help you moving into that, to have the new electrical charge field really come in and replace what's being zeroed out right now, is that intention and that desire to merge with your dragon self. All of the dragons that are in the deck, that are in the book for you to work with. Yeah, exactly. Me too, Deb. All of that work is still valid and valuable, because they're all helping you release whatever piece of trauma and debris pieces are still left in your field. That's what the dragons do best. They help clear that stuff out, help you see it, help you look in the mirror, and embrace you to do so, because it can be hard and traumatic and scary, and a lot of deep emotions come up. They're going to embrace you with a full wrap of wings around you to take you through it. And by knowing how to do that with the book, thedragonwithin.com, you can find hard copies or digital copies in multiple languages, or the deck, as I said, anything that is going to be worthwhile or useful for you. Maybe you're auditory and you need guided meditations. There's a slew of them on the site. There's free meditations, anything to get you into that. So just keep those pieces aware moving forward. Where is your intention, and how much energy or effort? I don't like to use the word time, because we're trying to get out of time. We're not in the time continuum so much anymore. It's really the present moment, this now moment, continuously rolling forward. So where are you in every moment? Are you holding that intention and that desire, and consciously claiming that desire to ascend, to move into that, to see the world shift and be in that new realm? Because I tell you, with the bifurcation happening, I'm really glad that I'm moving into 5D. I'm really glad that I'm already seeing and experiencing those pieces in my world, because I don't think the 3D realm is going to be a very pleasant place to be moving forward. There's a lot of dark agenda that's going to just keep rolling out for the next 26,000 year cycle. And yeah, sitting in love, exactly, sitting and holding that space. And it doesn't mean we don't keep sending and holding that vibrational light for others to awaken out of that. But those that are moving forward, they are on that ascension path. Whatever point they're on that, may or may not be exactly where you're at, but where you're at, if you're listening to this and you're ready to know you're at that zeroing out of your electrical charge field, taking on of the new electrical charge field, and being ready for that. And you might be exhausted, you might need some deep sleep, but you definitely need some intention and some time of pulling your dragon in as best you can and feeling that merge, and being ready for allowing memory to start trickling in. What can I do to open my pineal gland, all of my clairs? What can I do to open my telecommunication body? Because that's the next step, where all of those clairs are wrapped up into one higher dimensional body that is a part of you. I teach about that in my classes, so I won't go in depth here, but you have a telecommunication body that's activating as well. And that means everything becomes full knowing, and pure instant communication. And you're probably starting to already feel that, where you think of someone, you feel their presence, or you like have a thought of them, and all of a sudden they text, or you get an email from them, or a phone call, or you have the intention in the evening to call them and then you don't, and the next morning they call you. That's your telecommunication body starting to come online. Pay attention to it. Every little nod of awareness that you give to yourself on your journey every little point of confirmation locks it in, grounds it in, and helps you move forward with it, maintaining that. So don't want to go off for too long. I feel like I've been rambling. Hopefully it was useful rambling. I do feel like there's been a lot of heart energy and particularly sun chakra energy coming from my high solar plexus. This is my dragon chakra that is aligned to what's happening right now, and was a big part of the information that came through yesterday, as well as this activation and feeling this almost broadcast signal going out from Tana, who is my dragon aspect. So you may be feeling this hitting you right in the space at the base of your sternum between your solar plexus and your heart chakras, in your sort of human body self, your physical chakra self. But in that, there's another one opening up. I call it a high solar plexus or a sun chakra. It's part of your dragon chakra system, and you're going to be feeling this broadcast coming in to just help open your bodies to this next level shift. I can feel that gift going out from Tana of, all right, there's a preparedness, there's a readiness for everyone that's watching this now or watching on the replay of just open to receive that, feel it. And I'm feeling a real call. So this dynamic midpoint brings in so many dynamic qualities. When we return through the gates of heaven, you might call it, it's like children, right? It's also like this dynamic power presence. It's all of it. So what I find interesting is the two dragons that wanted to be present today. We've got the Citrine and the Carnelian. I'm finally understanding now where this ties in, because it's the bigger picture. Because they almost hold two ends of the spectrums of an energy framework. So the Citrine dragon is that whim, childlike perspective, and playfulness, while the Carnelian dragon is life force, exuberance, and dynamism. And I didn't really understand that when they first said, we want to be on the wall, we want to be in the live today. Pull us down. And I thought, you're so dynamically opposed, even though your color vibration feels similar. One is fire, one is air. But it's this piece of, it's not about opposing forces. It's not opposite in spectrum. When we come into union and merge, all of that is present simultaneously. So where is that childlike whim for you? Where is that exuberance and that dynamism that is life force just... And that is coming into the life force. That is the waking up of that life force, that as that solar event happens, and who knows when exactly it will be, but I feel like there's already this pulse or this push coming towards us, because we're starting to have awareness of it. We're starting to have the awareness of what it's going to do. So if your pineal gland decalcifies really quickly and you all of a sudden feel like, whoa, now I can take on the life force charge of this new electromagnetic field. Now I'm really ready. What do I feel shifting in my body? And it becomes this expansion up and out directly from that sun chakra and the heart of, whoa, feeling everything like a sun emanating out from the center point within you. So hopefully you're feeling that. You might feel it as pressure. You might feel it as just like this, wow, I feel like there's something opening at the base of my chest here, right in the center of my torso. Just take advantage, breathe into it. Let your own dragon breathe and expand that, as if you're opening up that breastplate of your dragon. Open it up and feel it just almost light up in front of you. What is that? And I love that. What is this whole breastplate on the front of the dragon do? And the Carnelian one is just always spectacular to me too. Like, feeling that breastplate of your dragon. Allowing you to breathe in and forward, claiming your space in the world. So beautiful to be with you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday, and have a lovely, for us in the United States, we have a holiday weekend here, so might be quiet on a lot of the channels, or maybe people have time off so they get more active on all the social media. I usually run away and hide on the weekends just because I want to be out in nature and doing and enjoying the sun directly and moving my body into processing and synthesizing its own vitamin D and its own food source from that sun, because we will actually be able to do that in the not too distant future. All right. Blessings to everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Bye-bye.